Ciao a tutti, Pasquale here from Pranzo with Pasquale. I'm joined with a very special guest today, Davide Lubrano Lavadera from Pizzata in Philadelphia. Davide, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I see you online a lot. You're getting ready for the Pizza Expo. You're doing a lot of testing right now, correct?
A lot of testing, correct, as
Yeah.
always. We usually start about a month before that, and we tweak and adjust, and not this, more that, do this. We need more color here, more color there. Let's try this. Let's try that. I'm not happy with this. So it's a good teamwork, between um, Vinny testing the dough and me communicating what we need more, and then me testing the recipes, my brother finding the ingredients. It's a good overall balance.
Nice. So it's you, Cheeto, and Vince that collaborate and work together when it comes competition time, correct?
It depends on who's going, right? When we go to Vegas, it's been all three of us. So yes,
Got it. Sorry, my shirt. Well, tell me how you got involved in this business. So you were born. We talked briefly. Tell us. So you were born
yeah.
in New
So I was
York.
born in Long Island, but my parents are from Napoli, Monte di Procida, Napoli, and they moved back when I was 2 years old. Where my dad has been in the restaurant business his whole life. My dad, my uncle, my two brothers, like my other uncle, everyone. So, I grew up doing homework at the restaurant, and I got sucked in basically. When I was going to high
In
school,
Italy.
uh, in Italy, correct. I was in Italy until I was basically 18 years old for the first time. I came back here after like 16, 17 years, and I was in Italy. I was like, no way, I'm going back again. So I did. And then I ended up being in Spain. I ended up being in Austria for 4 years, always making pizzas. And then about 11 years ago, I had a friend of mine in New York that has a couple restaurants, and he's like, why don't you come make pizza here? Manage a shop here. And I was ready to come back to the States. I felt so I did, and I was in New York for almost 3 years, and then I kept coming to Philly because I had my brother running a restaurant here. So I fell in love with Philly, and 8 years ago I moved to Philly, and 6 years ago we opened Pizzata.
Very nice. So tell me about Monte di Procida. Where exactly is Monte di Procida?
Monte di Broche is southern of Naples. We're a peninsula, so we're right on the water, and we're basically let's say the last town of southern of Naples, like basically after us, because we're a peninsula, you can't go anywhere. There's no way out. Can't run away from there. But we're right in front of the island of Capri, Ischia, Procida, and Ventotene. So we're basically face the islands.
And
It's
who
a beautiful
who's
town, especially during summer.
yeah, I think
Where
my
my dad
cousin
had a
got
restaurant for 38 years there.
he had a restaurant for 38 years. Okay. And
Correct.
what kind of restaurant did you grow up in?
I grew up doing Neapolitan pizzas. Like my dad had Neapolitan pizzas, um, doing kind of like an American pub close to
Hmm.
it. So he was doing like, wings, and Neapolitan wood fire pizzas, but then was doing cheesesteaks. We were doing Italian versions of cheesesteak, with rucola, shaved parmesan, and marinated eggplant, eggplant caponata cheesesteaks, burrata, all kinds of, fun stuff that like we love in Italy. And as in fact, I just launched cheesesteaks here, and Philly is it's kind of like Naples, like the birth of pizza. Philly is the birth
Mhm.
of cheesesteaks. So um, I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing, as always. Like we started sourdough, and everyone was like, "You guys are crazy." We still are crazy, you know. Um, so we did the Roman style. We just want to do us, right? We don't. We have our own identity. We try to be creative. We try to give people what they want, but we also put our input into it. So we did. I'm trying to do the same thing with cheesesteaks, right? So right now we did a cacio e pepe cheesesteak. We did a Calabrian chili, burrata, and longots. We did a Calabrian spicy aioli with hot cherry peppers and provolone. We did another one with broccoli raw, smoked mozzarella, provola. roasted pepper, mushroom. So, 5, 6 things. And as I go, I'm gonna slowly introduce more crazy things I have in my mind.
Very nice. You lost me at melanzane sott'olio. Appena cadette in melanzane sott'olio, I just started thinking
Yeah.
about a nice sandwich right by the beach. So Monte di Procida. I think I'm almost positive my cousin got married at a hotel restaurant there that was near the water. So that's a very unique place to grow up in. You were 18,
Yeah.
so yeah, talk to me about going to school there, Italy in general, what your memories are, how much what you miss about growing up there, living
What I
there.
miss about growing up there is the lifestyle, right? I think we tend to enjoy life a lot more and not just work, 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 and get into that stage of mind. Um, it's we live more in the present. I think this is trying to chase constantly something. Like I observed personally in this country as well, and I miss going to soccer games with my friends or just play soccer until you die basically, with your friends, even if it's like a friendly game, or um, sit at the beach drinking espresso and having an aperitivo, watching the sunset at the beach every day, right? Because like in my town, it's like I always say, even during winter, one sunny day, everybody's at the beach, even though the weather is cold, but it feels like a vacation day, right? Um, Miss mostly, having the chance to spend. I'm gonna get emotional about, spending about more time with my parents. Right, my parents still live there. My family still lives there, and they. I miss the fact. Yeah, I miss the fact. There you go. I miss the fact to it's 12:30, it's 1 p.m. Are you coming home to eat? And like everybody sits down at a table. Like it's literally every day, 1 p.m. Naples dies, right? I say, everyone goes home, sits with their family, has lunch, glass of wine, and they take a little nap, and then 4 o'clock, every business reopens, right? I miss that quality of life of just enjoying little things, right? And of course, I miss the beach. When you grow up on the water, I don't think it's something that you can never take away from inside you. You miss the sound of the water, right? You miss looking at it. You miss getting lost um, in just sitting in front of a beautiful sunset or a beautiful sunrise, and just like I said, just like little things, man, little things. So my dad had a restaurant, so I grew up doing that. I went to school, and then I was always very creative and very hyper, but I was always very ADD, So, focusing on studying is not really my thing. I like creating, I like playing, I like doing that kind of stuff. So when my dad would, all of us are in the restaurant business, and my dad was trying to not let me be in it. Funny thing, right? It's like go to school, get out of this business, blah blah blah. And instead, I started skipping school. I did the exact opposite. And my dad found out and was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "We talked about this." Blah, blah, blah. It's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to make pizzas. I want to make fucking pizzas. And I'm going to go to school for making pizzas. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to try really hard. I want to open a restaurant like you guys did." And within 1 week, bought me a ticket and send me to America, right? To work. I was like, I don't want to go to America. And that's when I came. And then I came back. Like I went back very quick. I was like, no, I'm not ready for this, right? But yeah, I always grew up like working at my dad's restaurant, and I never understood what he was doing, kind of because we had like 30 employees and big restaurant, like 200 seat restaurants,
Oh wow.
and yeah, beautiful view. It was called Dream View because you could see the whole Amalfi Coast, the Vesuvius, the islands. It was on top of a cliff,
Hmm.
and when I started working, I was like 12 years old. Literally, like it's like you go outside and watch cars. Like kind of job is that? Like what could you do abusivo, like asking people like, I'm gonna wash your car, like people will give you $1, right?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
so then at 13, he called me like, okay, you're gonna start doing a busboy. I'm like, oh, this is great. And he's like, yeah, start from the restrooms. I'm like, we have all these employees, right? I'm like, I'm a kid. I'm like, I'm your son. But literally, like in two, I moved away. Like I did
Yeah.
everything. So like I started like busboy, brushing, like cleaning restrooms, and then like, okay, now you're gonna be a bar back. Now you want to wash dishes. Now you're gonna wash glasses. Now you're gonna learn how to make a drink. Now you're gonna make a milkshake. Like little by little. And to be honest, I hated it because I'm like, we have all these guys. Why do I have to be doing, like doing all
Hmm.
this?
Yeah.
But he was trying to teach me manners. He was trying to teach me how to stay humble, right? How to not dependent on somebody else. Um, the work ethic. If you wouldn't have a restaurant, if your dad wouldn't have a restaurant, what would it be like to work for somebody else? And so I uh, I finally get it. Let me say that, right? I finally get what he did, and I'm very proud of that. You know, he did it the hard way, but he did something good.
Yeah. Well, he did it in the way he knew how, right? Nobody
Right,
gives you
right, right, right.
nobody.
And
Yeah.
nobody can teach you. You only learn this as you grow up. You're like sometimes like, oh, my parents don't love me, or this or that. It's like no, we only capable of loving somebody, you know, with what we have internally, right? That's one thing I learned. Um, and he was like, you're gonna have to earn your money. I'm not giving you money. And I literally went to school and went to work every weekend, to
Yeah.
earn that money. So, of course, his way of showing me love was a lot of food, a lot. You know, it's like you're gonna earn your money, but like, what do you want to eat? And I'll be like lobster, and I'll be lobster on the table, right? I'll be like sea urchin, there'll be octopus. I don't like, So uh, that was his thing. Meanwhile, my mom was she's like a super affectionate person, like the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So I observed the both of them.
Yeah. So all three of yous in America, huh? Mame papa
Yeah,
a Napoli.
yeah,
That's got to be
yeah.
tough.
Trying to
That's got
bring
to be
them here,
tough.
but they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like you said. It's a different. When you're younger, I get it. You're chasing something. You're working, money in your pocket. Yeah, girls, this and that. Even though the quality of life, I agree, is not. To me, it's inferior here. Very superior in Italy,
right?
southern Italy. Um, but when you're
I think it's
older,
you only learn that as you go, right? The older you become, the more you're
yeah,
like, what am I exactly chasing, right?
yeah,
What is the meaning of this? And that's when you start missing home more and more and more. My goal is to hopefully retire there again, right?
yeah.
And I always say I'm here now, and I want to be here. I love Philly. Philly's my city. But
Hmm.
if one day I get up and my brain just tells me go, I'm gonna I'm gonna go. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
do what I feel. That's it.
yeah. But it's a different lifestyle. Like, well, number one, your parents have been there their whole lives. But,
Right.
it's your father could wake up in the morning, va prendere il caffè. There's more community. There's more, over here, if he's
Right.
living with you guys, where's he going to go? The Starbucks? It's different,
Yeah.
and,
It's very different.
yeah. So I get that. And luckily, I like to say the world's a smaller place now, chiamate, videochiamate, queste cose qua. Even airfare is not as expensive as it used to be, ironically. But there was a time, I'm a year older than you, but there was a time when I was young. I remember they used to still write letters. That's how they would communicate. The phone calls, it used to cost
Yeah.
so much money for my family. Even a phone call was made like once a month, because you would have to pay,
Right.
so
Right.
we're
I
lucky that
remember the I don't know what you call it, the scheda telefonica. Like you have to
yeah,
buy those cards and then
how they
find
call
a
it.
phone on the street and
Hmm.
tell your mom exactly the day you were gonna call them at what
Hmm.
time. So you have to go to the phone and she could be next to the phone answering that phone call, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
remember that. It was I'm young, but I'm not that young. Let me say that, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's still home. Obviously, your heart, and yeah, it's there's something about maybe it's all Italians, I don't know, but Southern Italians. There's group texts, there's chats. When you go back, they get excited. Who's picking you up? Where you staying? No, no, don't you dare get a hotel. You're staying by me. Then they fight. You got to
Yeah.
come see me. Uh, it's yeah, it's nice to have that as home. Not everybody has that type of center, but
Right.
it makes
I
you.
think the one that makes you sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry to interrupt you. It's just when you're in the world and you see other places, you realize that it's not all like that, and you miss it more because you can't call up Pasquale and say andiamo a prenderci un caffè. It's
Yep.
different.
That's
It's
exactly
different.
it. Or you go to the
Yeah.
beach, even like like you go to the piazza, like you don't even have to call anybody. Everybody's gonna be there. Right.
Yeah.
So you always have a friend every day. Right. And the weird thing is, which still surprised me, like right now, all my friends are pretty much all married with kids, right? But somehow we still like go out 20 of us, right? And we still cook together 20 of us. We still go to the beach 20 of us. It's like this doesn't happen here. Here at some point you lose contact, right? Or everyone goes their ways. Or people come and go, right? It's very different. I think it might be different for someone that grew up here and have their friends, but for me, it's more like that, right? I found good friendship with Expo, right?
Mm,
With the pizza mixers that you kind of connect in a different way. It's not your friends in Italy, but in the past couple of days, I call Massimiliano, I call this, I call Brett, I call Dan, I call Benjamin, I call Tony Chimirelli, I call whatever. And like you like because you talk every once in a while, like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You create those special connections where you realize, um, I've always been a person that I like to support everybody, right? I don't care who wins, right? You want to win, but you cannot always win. That's unrealistic, right? You try to do your best to win. You can bring in your power, your energy, your creativity, your drive. But I think to me, what counts is being there for that person, supporting him to win as well, right? Like if he's missing tomatoes, I'm gonna drop my prep. I'm gonna go find tomatoes for the guy, right? Because I know what he's going through. He's going through that pressure. He wants it to be perfect, and then like a little act goes so far, right? And you know, uh, for so many years, I see the other people win, and I was just truly fucking happy, man. I was just happy. Like I don't like I'm so emotional, so like I cry, like I tend to cry easily, right? And seeing other people with the same passion that go through that, I don't want to say struggle, but that intenseness, that challenge, that you get it, right? So you want to help. And I think there is as you grow, you're like, I used to think, oh, nobody, everybody wants you to see you win. It's not true. That's not true. That's a lie. That's a
yeah.
lie. There's a lot of envy. There is a lot of envy in the world, but I think there is also good people, right? And those people is what counts, and that's what you need to focus on. So I always say, I know something you don't know. You know, you know something your friend next to you doesn't know, and if we all put our pride apart and we talk, we actually learn from each other, right? And we keep growing that way because there's no way you know everything, and at one point you're gonna need help. So you want to be a person that is being there for others and to support in any way you can because that's going to come back to you, right? One day you're going to need support. One day they're going to need support, and there is no reason to shit talk, right? Or to think that you're better. Life is going to humble you, man. Life is going to humble you a lot, and I think it's very important to stay grounded and to share that passion, that love, or that knowledge that you have, right? Because, like I said, like you also want to learn from others, and other people have, that expo, I come across so many good people. Like I'm so happy to be part of the Tony Gimignani where Pizza Champion group. I It's very special. It's very, very special when we're prepping and we're laughing and we're doing. And yeah, like I said, everybody wants to win, but there are some people that are just simply happy if you win or if they don't, you know.
Yeah.
And like I met Vini competing. The reason why Pizzata is here today, it's because I really met Vini competing at Atlantic City. I ended up, I think, fourth playing doing Tella. And the weird thing is, my brother was there to support me, and me and Vini went on at the same time. Vini was by himself. He was doing Neapolitan pizza. I was doing Tella, and we're literally right next to each other. Right? And I'm like, "Oh my god, your dough looks great." You know? He goes, "Oh my god, your dough looks great," right? And then my brother pokes his dough, right? He's like, and Vinny's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, this is my brother." My brother's like, you know, and my brother was like, "You're gonna win," he says to Vinny, right?
Mhm,
And long story short, we shake hands. What's your name? Blah blah. Good luck.
mhm.
Results come out. Vinny wins, right? But then after that, he was by himself. So after we competed, we started chatting because we met on stage, and like bromance.
Mhm.
Like it was immediate. Like I don't know how to even describe it. Right? It was
Colpo di
immediate.
fulmine.
Yeah, and he ended up winning. So he only knew me and my brother. So we hugged. We celebrated. And then we
Ah,
exchanged
beautiful. Yeah.
numbers. And then they're like, "Where you from?" Like, "Oh, I just moved back to Philly." I was like, "Get out. We're in Philly, right?"
Mhm,
So came back to Philly, and he wanted to start a food truck. I wanted to open a little shop, which is what you see today. And we started to take pizza trips to go to New York, right, or to go visit places to do that. And like he was very big into sourdough. He worked for Del Popolo, right?
mm,
And I'm very visionary, right? I had this vision in mind. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? You want to do this? I want to do this. Why don't we just combine the two and we do it, right? And this is when was the beginning of sourdough, right? Like we were the first one to do natural leaven, and everyone was like, "How are you going to keep up with this?" You're like, "We don't fucking know, right? But we're gonna figure it out, right?" And then we're negotiating the place, and COVID happens. We're like, "Oh
mm.
man, fuck, we're fucked here, right?" But then 2 months in, the world became a ghost town, and like we just kept thinking, like, man, that place, someone is going to go in there, is going to take that place, and like what do we do? Is this going to hand? What are we going to do? Why don't we just jump? And we made that jump, and the rest is history. Philly was very supportive from day one. That's the one thing I did not expect, right? We're like, let's open a little shop, 30, 40 pies a day. Great. Blah, blah. Going to do sourdough. And it God sends, man. Like, I don't even know how it happened, right? But like, the word went around so quick, and I think that was also because I was so, like I said, I was running a restaurant. I was running. Me and my brother were running the restaurant that now turned into Pizzata. Right, that used to be a different restaurant. Then we bought that out. But by being in the community, like as I said, I'd always been so supportive and like go to the restaurant and like you need a favor, I'm here, I'll pick up. If I can help, I can help. And I think when people knew that we were going to open, I think it was their moment to give back, right? And but we're like, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Like we installed a takeout window. We couldn't allow people in, right? And we are like literally little window giving out pizzas, right? And from day one we opened, there was a line out the door. Now it's very stabilized, right? But it was special, right? It was scary because it was COVID and it was our first place and we didn't know much. We're still learning, man. We're still learning. That's the thing. It's error and trials, right? Always. And we're blessed. I think it's not always easy. There's always a lot of challenges. There's some years that are really good. like past 6 months being very challenging for all of us, right?
Hmm.
For
Oh yeah.
one reason or another. Um, we had a flood, we had a basement flood, we had a roof leaks at both places, a wall catched on fire. They broke into the store. Sorry to say it, bring it up. Vinny lost his wife. Uh, it, but you tend to stay positive. You keep pushing. I always say keep pushing, and things always turn around, right? So that's what we do. We just keep going. That's it, and
Hmm.
hope for the best.
I hope for the best, one day at a time. Uh, Davide, you said life humbles you. When has life humbled you?
Well, life humbles you, first when you realize you're this little dot in a world, right? In a huge world. And that's why I say stay humble, because you can lose your parent, you can lose your wife, you can lose your business. So people can break in, you're broke, like I invested the first pizza, I put in like I had, all my savings, I put them in. And then the next day I woke up and I'm like, I have no money to pay rent. Like literally zero. And so like it gets scary, right? Or when they break in and now you're behind and now you got to recuperate their money, or um, wall catches on fire or whatever. That's you're like, when you're up here, just stay calm, man. Just stay calm, because eventually it's gonna drop, right? And then you can just gotta keep pushing and try to level it up, right? That's the only thing you could do, because you have no control of life. But the one thing I say, like, things that used to piss me off or really upset me, they still upset me, right? But I look at it a very different way now. I'm still blessed. I have a home, right? We have two shops. I eat. I go once a year to Italy to see my parents. I'm happy, man. That's all I need, right? Um, yeah, life is beautiful, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about pizza now. So, when did you really start diving into dough and pizza, and because we all see the finished product, and oh, David, his pizzas are beautiful and the sandwiches, but tell me the process of when you really started, okay,
Well, I think
learning and developing.
I like I said, I was doing homework at my dad's restaurant, right? And I got sucked into the world, right? Um, but in a weird way, I always wanted to do things my way, you know. When I was younger with my dad,
And Dad didn't like
and I
that,
was always very, like I said, like I never like really enjoy studying, but I always like to be creative. So I told my dad, I was like, hey, I want to do this. And my dad is like, oh my God. It's like, okay. It's like, if you do it well, right? So then I moved to Australia, I moved to Spain, and I started to really like uh, be on the oven, right? And giro pizza and like making pizzas and making dough and making this. And, in the beginning, I think you always are a pizza maker, but you slowly become a pizzaiolo, and then you
right?
slowly become a pizza chef.
Mm-hmm.
Very three different stages, right? Um, then so I realized what I wanted to do as a young person, and I had that when everyone is like, I'm gonna be a lawyer, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, I'm gonna make pizzas. And everyone is like, you're fucking crazy, right? And and um, like I got so sucked in that I knew what I wanted to do, but like it was also a gift at the same time because it made me start young, right? So usually you start a job after you finish school, and I just did that as my whole life kept going. I'm still making pizzas, right? I'm still cooking, um, and I fall in love outside of I had the certificate, from the pizza napoletana or whatever, but I really fell in love with Roman pizza, right? And still to this day, even though I'm an Neapolitan guy, I love Neapolitan pizza, love it, right? And I make it in my, like when I want it in my house, I have an oven in my house, I make Neapolitan pizza. But uh, my true love is Roman pizza, right? And I took a class with Massimiliano, probably like he was in Miami back then. Probably like I don't even know, 8, 9 years ago. Like it was
Was
a
he in
long
his
time ago.
in the
Right? I
in
was like
the
one of the very first students, I think, maybe,
okay.
and I just fall in love with it. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and then little by little, I didn't have a chance because I didn't have a store, right? So I was just constantly making dough and playing around with it, right? And like, because we were running that restaurant, I kept doing specials with it, right? Just once a month, one new pizza, one new pizza, one new pizza, one new pizza. Like 6 years later, I finally added the Roman style to the menu because now we can, right? Because it's also like every time you add something to the menu, it's not just adding something. You got to figure out configurations, space, storage, how to maintain that fresh, how to not have waste. There is a lot that goes into that, right? But I love that Roman pizza brings out a part of me that humbles me a lot, right? Because it's so hard, man. It's not as easy as everyone thinks, right?
Mm-mm.
And um, so it's constantly you think you're running the show. It's the dough that runs the show, man. It's the dough that runs you, right? So the dough is constantly pushing your buttons, right? And so you have to learn, and part of me always says this, like I'm not a bread baker, right? Bread is very different than pizza, right? We are now doing everyone's doing sourdough, this and that, but they're two completely different things. Because when you're shipping and making dough for the day, right, you're gonna go in at 8 o'clock, you're gonna get all that dough, bake it, boom, in one shot, right? Are you good? So everything is exactly the same. When it comes to pizza, you have to manage the hours of the day. Is it slow? Is it rush hour? How long does the dough need to be out? 4 hours? It needs to be a 65. Does it need to be a 68? You're gonna pour it for 4 days. If it's proofing too long, you gotta stop it. It's slow tonight. Put it back in, or it keeps rising. Like it just there goes so much into it, right? That yeah, like you need to be on top of it. Otherwise it runs you, right? You try to manage what it's running you, right? That's
Yeah,
the
you
way I
can't.
see it.
Yeah, yeah. You can't keep you got to keep your eye on it. You're right. There's a lot of factors.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of factors that
Yeah.
go into it, right? And like
Hmm.
you can have, like I have a few friends of mine that have, I think that's another thing. That's why I say like you slowly become more and more, you have more and more knowledge. But there are people that have, proof refrigerations and this and that. We don't, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like it's a very
Okay.
different thing. I can't set that creates steam inside and then at 8 o'clock, it starts proofing and then it stops the proofing. And like
Hmm.
us is just final temperature of the dough. The water needs to be at this temperature to, put into the dough because today is this, the humidity in here is this, and this. We actually just build a dough facility, right? And that's helping out. We're making the dough and delivering to both places,
Okay.
right? And we have 160 quart mixer, 120 quart mixer. We have a little countertop mixer where we use for competitions, to experiment with that. Um, we have a divider, right? And I still refuse to get a baller, right?
Hmm.
Because every baller I tried, all the respect, um, it just rips the dough ball apart, right?
Mm.
And it drives
Yeah.
me crazy. And it's just a personal thing, right? Or maybe I haven't figured out yet how to use that. But when you look at a doll ball and it's perfectly smooth on the outside, that's what I
Hmm.
like. If I see that
Yeah.
it's dripping, it's this and that, it's gonna drive me crazy. Right? I can still use it. I know how to use it, but it's
Yeah.
gonna drive me crazy. Right?
Yeah.
And if I don't know like someone is gonna eat that pizza, then I'd be like, they're gonna know. Right? But
Hmm.
I know,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's gonna drive you crazy. Do you do more? right now? Roman pizzas or sourdough pizzas?
New York style, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we were born with that. So we just added the Roman style about on the menu about 4 or 5 months ago. But
Okay.
that's because
It's
we didn't have
relatively new.
space in the kitchen, right? We didn't like this location is 700 square feet,
Mm,
and we have a 700 square feet basement where we have a storage that thankfully allows us to just operate upstairs.
yeah.
And but to do let's say 200 pies, on a Friday and it's like rush hour, it's 5 to 7, right? You really have to properly um, plan, right, for the storage because it's 700 square feet. So every item you add, it's takes up extra space. So you got to be able
Hmm.
to figure that out. So we used to make the dough here, and we had all we could have done basically for 5 years was dough and salads, right? Dough, pizza, salads. So we didn't have space for the mirror style because I had no cooling racks where to after bake them, right? Or
Hmm.
I couldn't add the grill because I had the mixer in the kitchen, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't add the fryer. I couldn't add anything. So, the crazy side of me, I'm like, oh, we moved this here. I'm constantly doing that, by the way. Like I drive really crazy sometimes. Right? And like I wake up, I'm like, no, move this fridge here. Now we're gonna move that there. We're gonna make that this. We're gonna move that there. We're gonna move like this here. Like it's it's like playing Tetris, right?
Hmm.
Until you're like find that will create a smooth flow, right, for everybody to operate in a good way, right? Because
Hmm.
otherwise it's just frustrating, right?
Hmm.
So the Roman style are kicking in more and more. I want to remodel the counter up front now. Now I have like a big box where I do the Roman style by the slice, and what I want to do is I want to basically redo the whole counter where the POS system is and where that box is, and I'm going to make one big display slice where I could do, you know, grab and go sandwiches, all kinds of Roman style, some desserts, or a lot more visible than having this box. But that's the only
Yeah.
way I could do it right now. Like I have no space, right?
Yeah.
But we figure out how to give people what they wanted because they wanted slices. And in the beginning, we weren't even doing slices because again, we
Oh,
didn't have a
really?
space. Right?
Hmm.
We were just plain doing like whole pies and salads, and and then we kept getting this demand for years for like, hey, do you make cheesesteaks or do you make this? Do you make that? Do you make that? Do you make that? So finally, by building the dough facility, we were able to add more items to the menu, right? But like even the cheesesteaks, like, there's so many cheesesteaks in Philly, man. Like everyone makes cheesesteaks, right? It's not like in Naples, like I was saying to you. And we couldn't do what everybody else was doing because we wouldn't got any curiosity behind there, right? So we had to
Yeah.
do something different again. So we did. Um, but yeah, like it's never ending, right? It's you always say, oh, okay, once we finish with this, we're good. And then three
Yeah.
months go by, and now because you have that dialed in, you start getting bored. So like, okay, I got to figure something else now. How to stress myself now, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
yeah, you're the creative. You're always gonna do that. You're not.
right.
Yeah, it's boring if it's just the same thing every day, right? You want to keep on trying and,
It's
and, and improving and yeah.
so boring, so boring. I need excitement, right? Vinny always says I thrive in chaos. I like when everybody's panicking.
Hmm.
I'm like I'm very observant, right? So
Hmm.
like, if there's a fire, I definitely know where to get out before anybody else, right? Like, because I already looked at the room, I already looked at the whole room, right? I already have my eyes everywhere, right? Like,
Hmm.
so, and there's some people that just, like panic. I only panic. Tell you what, I have anxiety, but I only have anxiety when I go to bed and I don't sleep a lot, right? Because it's
Mm.
throughout the night that I get anxiety. And why? It's because I'm firm. I'm still. I'm not moving. Right? The second I'm up and I'm moving, that anxiety is gone.
You
The
feel
second
better.
I lay my head on the pillow, it's all night. It's all night.
Does your
Right?
mind keep
Because
racing?
my brain
Mm.
is just like, oh yeah, you could do this, you could do that. Did you do that? Okay, we do need to do this, so we need to do that. Okay, we need to move that
Yeah.
there. Okay, we need to do that. And just a lot of that, right?
Tell me about when you first started competing. When did you first compete?
I think I competed the first time, I think, in Atlantic City. Um, and then I think that's when I met Vinny. And then I went to Vegas the second time. And, you think, like, I'm going to be great. Boom, you're like, ended up like 27 or, pretty zero or 80. I don't know. We're like just saying numbers, right? Next, you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I don't know shit, right? So, uh, so that pushes you to do better. You're like, okay, I need to do better. I need to be better. I need to, be more creative. I need to figure this out, right? If you want it, it's my friend always says, how bad you want it, right? And
Mhm.
that's what's gonna make you get it.
So talk a little about, you mentioned it before, and I'm sure this was we'll go into who do you call when you need some advice and who's helped you. But talk about the Pizza World Champions, that brotherhood, that community that you're a part of now. How did that come about? How were you contacted,
Here to
and how
outside,
how has that affected you in your
is
career
if
and in your life?
I is affected me big time because it's a badge I wear with a lot of pride, right? And thanks to Tony, that was like, you know, how would you like to be part of this? But it's not guaranteed. So you're gonna have to go through, interviews and um, phone calls and this and that, and you have to be nominated by different people, and nothing is guaranteed, right? Like you could be on it, and like after the third interview, you're not, or after the first interview, they're like, you're not our guy or whatever. I got lucky, I think. I always say luck depends from hard work. Um, but is affecting me in a way that even before I was part of that team, like I said, what goes around comes around, right? I'm always like a pizza expo talking to everyone. I'm like very social, right? And um, by every time you're supportive of others, I think I knew a lot of them already, right? But then it opened up the world to so much more, right? Because now you're part of this crazy talented people. Like it's everyone is so talented and everyone has so much knowledge in a different way. And that's why I say like now we go back to everyone knows something different that you don't know, right? And not
Hmm.
everyone has the same strengths. But when you jump on phone calls and you're like, oh, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? What do you do for that? What do you do for that? You just keep learning more and more and more and more and more. And there's no pricing. That's priceless. That's
Hmm.
you don't get that every day. You don't get that by just talking to random people, right? Um, and the other part of that is that now, it's like, I think everyone knows who you are already, right? But because you wear that badge with honor, you always want to do better, or you at least want to show up and like, I did a good job, right? Like, you win, don't win, but you want to feel proud that knowing that you did the best you could, right? And then everyone else is proud of you as well. But I don't think, like, I can't remember who I was talking to last year, but like, he got upset, like, and I'm like, this is not going to change anything. I'm like, everyone knows already who you are. You win, you don't win, or you burn something. Like, I burned my pizza in Naples, right? I moved my pizza, I don't know, I did New York style, right? Um, First time in my life, I don't know why, right? I don't, when I go to competitions, I don't look at people uh, compete, right? Because I have such an absorbent brain that like absorb without realizing it, right? And I looked at someone and that person moved the pizza, and then I went on stage, right? And never in my life, like I make pizzas every day, right? I move it from the spot there it is,
Yeah.
right? And I did that, right? Just because unconsciously I watched someone and I did it, right? But I was saying to that person, like, this doesn't change anything. You know why? Because everyone already knows who you are. You already proved who you are. Your name is out there, right? People think you're a fantastic pizza maker, right? Nothing's gonna change. It's not gonna be like, oh my god, he sucks from now on, right? No,
Right.
like you're still gonna
Yeah.
respect that person, right? You're still gonna love that person because we're humans, right? We're not machines. If we were
Yeah.
machines, yeah, like then we will have machinery making pizzas, right? But,
Yeah.
but your pizza is also you, right? I last week I was talking to my best friend and like I was saying to him, right? Even if the dough is perfect, right? You're the same person, but you're a different emotion every day, right? That you show up in the shop, right? So
Mhm.
how you feel inside is going to reflect a lot on your stretching, right? On your baking, on your,
Mm.
one day you're like, oh man, I'm so tired, exhausted, this and that. So like you rush a little bit, like, and like another day you're like, you know, let's fucking go, let's do this, right? Blah blah. I want everything to be perfect. Blah blah blah. Another day you're like, oh my god, like, right? So like your emotions are in your hands, right? And how you use your hands is going to reflect on the product you put out.
Wow.
Right?
So tell me the first time that. So what year did you become part of the team? You said you got a call from
It was
Tony.
last year. It was last year. It was a big year for me. It was last year. Same
Tell me about
exact
last
year.
year.
Wow, man, I'm still thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Walk
still
me through
thinking
everything.
about
I
it.
want to hear everything about last year as you recall it.
Um, I have something pretty crazy to tell you, right?
Hmm.
And I did that to a friend of mine in Ohio. Uh, Same thing happened to him. And that's, so I'm going to tell you, like, we got to, we always have plan A, plan B, plan C, right? Like, except for the Polish, we have one bigger, sourdough, you know, peppermint, Levain, blah, blah, recipe, different recipe. Because one thing I learned with competition is you can plan whatever you want. Once you're there, it's a totally different game, right? And everything can go right, but everything can go wrong, right? So I learned that through the years. And last year, actually, I was mixing, right? And they had a little Obert, like a little countertop Obert. I was mixing, right? And now it's a perfect recipe. Polish, what was it? The sourdough. Let's start from the sourdough. Vinny flew out we have a Levain, right? It died, right, on the plane, right? So that
Oh
was the
wow.
first thing. I'm like, all right, plan B, right? Okay, let's make a
Hmm.
Polish. Let's make it 50%. Let's, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we started mixing, and the mixer, after like 4 minutes, just goes, boom, just dies,
Oh sh.
right?
Oh no.
And Vinny's like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I'm like, no, we don't have time to do this and this and this, right? And he's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm like, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna fucking take this dough out of this bowl. I'm gonna go find another mixer, just completely wet, right? And I'm like, we're gonna get through this, right? So I find a mixer, and I think it was in the Orlando boot, and it was a mixer like this big. So now automatically our recipe is completely different, right? It's not a 2 kilo batch; it has to be a 15 kilos batch, right? So,
Hmm.
but I have to adjust accordingly because I don't have time to make another pre-ferment. And so, Beanie's very good at that, right? It creating formulas, adapting to that. And he's a lot about formulas and recipe. I'm very much touch, right?
Hmm.
So we make the pre-ferment, or still the bowl is still too big. I'm like, let me do a little bit of extra oil and a little bit of extra this. Long story short, right? We make this dough. Day after I look at it, it was perfect, right? So it was kind of like almost meant to be, right? But then the day after we had time to mix properly and do without that. But like when I looked at the dough, I'm like, oh my god, maybe it was good that the other mixer died, right? Maybe it wouldn't came out this good, right?
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and kind of the same thing. Like I was in Ohio this year. I I was doing, I think I did cheese slice and dessert this year, right? But I was very focused on dessert, and I placed second place. Um, but a friend of mine was mixing, same exact thing in front of me, right? He's mixing, boom.
Oh
right?
man.
And he starts cursing, being upset, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm just going to throw it out. I'm like, no, 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 you're not. Right? That's when you want to be supportive. Like, no, you're not. Like, this is exactly what happened to me. And I ended up winning. I'm like, you're gonna figure this out. We're going to figure this out, right? We're gonna put some more extra flour. We're gonna adjust the formula. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that, right? And he did, right? He competed. Uh, but going back to Vegas, you know, then I was out. Is everything I recall, right? I competed and I threw away all my ingredients, right? The pressure was gone, release anxiety, and I had all the ingredients, and all I kept is I don't know if you were there last year, but I had truffle caviar pearls on my pizza.
No, I wasn't there last year, unfortunately. Yeah.
Right. So I had truffle caviar pearls, right? And um, that was like one of the main ingredients of my pizza, right? And I had leeks, I had prosciutto cotto, burrata, like all kinds of stuff. But I competed, I threw away all the ingredients, right? And I just kept those pearls, right? And competed. Me and my best friend came. We went out, right? And we're out at a bar. Más tarde. Um, we're out at a bar, and it's 1 a.m., right? And I'm like tipsy, having fun. My brother calls me, and he goes, "Results came out." I'm like, "Oh, great!" I'm like at a club, right? And I'm like, "Oh, that's great!" Like, "Oh, how do we do, right?" Like, you know, I was like, "You placed second, right?" And I'm like, "Get the fuck!" I'm like, "Don't fuck with me right now." I'm like, I'm tipsy, I'm like, this is like, blah, blah, blah. Right? And my brother's like, "I'm serious." I was like, "No, no, send me a screenshot." Right? He sends me the same screenshot, right? And I'm like, holy shit, right? Like, so fucking happy. So I'm like, get a bottle, right? So now
We're
I go out with my
celebrating.
best friend,
Hmm.
right? I celebrated with my best friend, and I get home at like, I don't know, 5 a.m., and we have to be there at 7 a.m. again, right? Because my brother has to compete. My brother has to compete. But then we get there, and I have like 2 hours of sleep. I'm still hungover, right? And I see Roman style first. I didn't even know I was first in Roman style, right? On
Hmm.
the screens. And someone's like, "So you ready to compete again tomorrow?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, the first five compete again tomorrow. I'm like, "You're joking, right?" Like, no. So I threw away everything, right?
Oh
So
shit.
now I'm like, Vinny, you go find flour. Shiro, I need you to go Whole Foods. I need you to go supermarket. I need you to buy organic leeks, organic this, organic that. And my brother's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, you run, right? While I go find the rest. Then we make a Polish. We all come back, blah, blah. So meanwhile, he's supposed to compete. He competes and then runs. Vinny's like going around. It was, uh, but like teamwork, right?
Mm.
Within 2 hours, we have everything we need, and we get ready for the day after, and we do it all over again. But then that night, I didn't go party, so I'm like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this again. And then the day after, they also after we competed again, there was the announcement of the World Pizza Champion, and I think a lot of people knew how passionate I am about a lot of stuff, right? And how much that meant for me, right? And I felt a lot of love, a lot from a lot of love, right? A lot of people. And, you know, I didn't realize that also the announcement was on my mom's birthday, right?
Mm.
So it was a mix of a roller coaster of emotions, right? And, like automatically you up here, right? You're up here with your emotions, not like up here like, oh, I'm the fucking best, right? Like, no, again, like I say, yeah, I'm a pizza guy. Um, but I said, right, like call my mom, call my dad, right? Call my friends in Italy, like, yo, I did it, right? Whatever, everyone's happy. And they're like, hey, what do we do? I was like, I need to go home and meditate, right? Because I need to bring my
I
emotions
got
down here again. Listen, right? So that's what I did. I went back to the hotel for a couple hours, and I, was doing some breathing, took a nap, try to, and then at nighttime we went out. So
that's
it
it.
was, like I said, it's nice to have to feel certain things when you know it's genuine, right? Because, um, like I say, I always root for everybody. I want everybody to win, but I also know when I look at a person, I'm like, this doesn't convince me, right? Like, it's not genuine, right?
Mm,
Because
yeah.
growing up in the streets of Naples will teach you a thing or two, right? You will know when there's danger around you,
You
right?
become yeah, you're good at reading people and yeah, yeah.
Right. You become very self-aware of a lot of stuff. Um, so feeling that type of love, and there's still a lot of people on the team that I haven't quite met yet, right? We're all doing it as we go, but feeling that type of um, love, it's special because like it's like this is my career, right? And by being in this country, I always say this is the thing that keeps me going because otherwise, I will be in Italy. Like I said, like
Hmm.
it gets tough sometimes, right? When you're never home spending holidays and doing this and doing that, and you look forward the whole year. So the one thing that keeps me going, it's pizza, right? And it's pizza's very special. It's a very special world that brings a lot of people together.
You've come a very long way since Austria and Spain.
Yeah,
You've had quite a journey.
I I did, but I still feel like I have a long way to go.
Well, that's my next point. So, what's next now? Tell me. So I know your brain works a million miles an hour.
Um, right now, this year, I want to streamline everything. I think that's our goal: streamlining everything, put the places where they need to be, that they need to, in certain way, have to become almost self-efficient without constantly my brain behind it or Vinny's brain behind it because as you grow older, you don't have the same energy. And like, my two brothers, my brother and Vinny have kids, right? And there's a lot of priorities that kick in, a lot of different circumstances. So I think our goal for this year is to, streamline, work on systems, operations, and that part of the job, and eventually, you know, I do have my vision of a uh, kind of Roman style, kind of bakery kind of thing,
Mm,
right? Where I bring in, let's say, 7, 8 items, but it will be two cheesesteak, which will be, our signature cacio pepe this. Our Roman style will be like 3 pizzas. It will be New York style 2 pizzas, but it will be 2%, right? It will be 2 French baguette. It will be 2 maritozzi, but like
oh
all on the
man.
same counter, right?
Mm,
All on the same counter, and it's um, there's a lot that I still have to learn for that.
hmm.
Um, but you got to believe in the beauty of your dreams. I say,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and so I think it's a concept I haven't. I've seen one concept very similar in Miami, and that's what sparked that thing. Uh, but it's mostly cold sandwiches and desserts and a few focaccias that
Hmm.
everything together. I'm saying, right? I Yeah, I think that's my ultimate goal. But you know, life changes so much constantly that you never know where you end up. Like
No.
you'll never know. Like I never thought I was going to open a second restaurant, right? or I never thought I was gonna, we were gonna build a Dove facility, right? I never thought I was gonna do cheesesteaks out of here, right? I never like you just like I said, but then you get to a point where you're bored. I'm like, okay, now what? All right, what's next? Right? And I don't have kids, right? So that's the part that of me that are sometimes cheer up like my brother and being like, yo, slow down, right? Like, slow down, life is different. I
Right.
go home, I go home, I sit on the couch and I run a marathon and I'm thinking, right? I'm not talking to my kids, not talking to my wife,
Right.
right? I'm talking to them constantly. And like I go home and I'm on WhatsApp, like, yo, we need to yo. And sometimes they don't answer me for 2 hours. And I'm like, yo, don't do this. Don't do this.
My brain's still working here. Hurry up. Yeah, one day I'm gonna come out, or if you ever come to Chicago, whoever makes it first, we gotta sit there. We gotta cook and drink lots of
Absolutely.
wine and lots of amaro. When
Uh,
me,
by the way, I meant to tell you that too. Your food looks incredible.
oh, thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I am going to take you up on that.
yeah.
And I would love to come to Chicago because I gotta come see I got a couple of
Well, you
people
got
here.
some. Yeah, you got some friends here too, which is nice. If it's ever in your path, come see us. We'll show you a good time. You've never been, right?
No, I never been, and I'm
Okay.
really looking forward to it. It's one of my city on the radar.
Yeah, yeah. Come by. We'll treat. When Mimo came by last time, when he came to see me, I made him a nice Genovese and
Oh,
uh, and
killing me.
avaste Genovese avaste padat. I made him
Basta
cavrola.
para Gabrola.
Bravo, Miguel. So
That's it.
anytime you come to Chicago, don't worry, you're gonna eat like you're at home, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you so
Wait, in
much.
Boca al Lupo, good luck. I can't wait to see you. Hopefully, I get to see you compete sometimes at the expo. If you're judging, you can. But I'll definitely see you. Hopefully, I get to see you compete. And like I said, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that your name's going to be called quite often this month. So
It's up to the gods
the
of
pizza.
dough and to my God, right? And to the big guy up there.
Yes,
He decides it all. He decides it all. We can only do
uh,
our part.
yes. All
Right?
right.
So thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Buona fortuna. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
Grazie, crepi.